Hi. If you've just moved to Arizona, here's a few things to consider from an estate planning perspective. One, in Arizona, we don't record our wills or pre file them with the court before death. If you did that in your home state, don't assume that it will automatically transfer here. Here in Arizona, the court relies on the original documents. So if you don't have possession of those, there's a good idea to either locate them or re execute them from that stance alone. Also, here in Arizona, it is a community property state. That affects the automatic rights of the surviving spouse if you're married, and it can also affect how the division of property goes if you get a divorce. And if your documents were framed around this idea of the two spouses' separate property, you may want to revisit that to make sure that those things will be honored here in Arizona. And then another thing to consider is your healthcare and financial powers of attorney. A lot of times, the local state dictates what needs to be followed in order to formalize these documents. And each state can vary. Some only require one witness, some require two witnesses, and it can depend on which type of power of attorney it is. You want to check in with the local rules for the state that you left, as well as here and how those documents were executed to make sure that they'll still be honored here in Arizona. You should also reconsider if you've got powers of attorney, particularly healthcare, that reside outside the state that you're now living in. Consider naming someone as a backup agent that does live here in Arizona in case a last minute decision needs to be made in person. And finally, here in Arizona, we've got some local procedures in place for transferring a vehicle or real estate after you pass away. And those can vary from state to state too. So be sure to check those to make sure that you're complying with those local rules if you've moved into the state. Thanks. I'm Anjali Patel, and I'm an estate planning attorney in Arizona.